There we go. Welcome, everybody, to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show.
You went early.
It's my
That's
fault.
your fault.
It's my fault? Is that it?
You can see on the screen.
I thought you may have had a mistake. Welcome, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin. I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. I was, until apparently my producer, I guess, wanted to mess with me or something. I don't know what's going on.
Andrew doesn't know how images work on a screen.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's my fault. I apologize, folks. This is my fault. I am so in the wrong for this. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Scotty. I hope everybody out there is having a great day. We are coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School at the O'Hare campus. And once again, ladies and gents, we're back. Good to be consistent yet again. We've got a lot of things we're going to try to rehash from your questions as the usual for the off-season time. And over time, we're eventually going to get back into the sports talk. I know there's a lot going on, so we'll get into all that and then some as the time goes on. But, of course, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining us. If you want to watch us anymore, if you're watching us right now, you're probably watching us on the YouTube or the Twitch side, so make sure to go check us out there. There's that YouTube and Twitch at xbombsports.com and .tv. We're going live every Friday. At some point, we're going to get the other show going. I've just been super busy with other stuff, so I know I haven't changed that just yet. But at some point, we're hoping to get a second show going. And, of course, me and David got other things in the work. We're hoping to kind of go an every single day kind of thing, too. So as much content as we possibly can push out there. And, of course, too, ladies and gentlemen, you want to check us out for any more content, you can find us on all the social media sites at XBomb Sports, all the good stuff. I'm hoping to get the TikTok stuff back. Obviously, Frankie's been very, very busy. He's not been able to cut clips for us anymore. We're hoping to try and change that at some point, so be on the lookout for that, too. And, of course, if you guys want to check us out anymore with any questions or comments, as always, too, we love it. We praise it. Thank you so much, guys, for asking us questions at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com, as always. Unfortunately, too, no Bad Karma Wrestling. Our boys are out. But if you do want to check it out, just real quick, shout out to those boys, Bad Karma Wrestling. Find it on the YouTube side. That's Bad Karma Wrestling. Just go search it up. It's our boy, David Dykstra, No Gimmicks, Nick Johnson, and, of course, Scotty in the back there talking about wrestling. I chime in every once in a while, but I'm just kind of there for show more than anything. And with that, too, sounds like we might be going live for Blow the Whistle, so be on the lookout for that. We will tweet that out and make sure to shout out Blow the Whistle on that as well. We'll hit them with the @ and we'll probably be talking a lot of combine stuff there for sure. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to join us for more sports talk, that's going to be on Sportstown Chicago's YouTube page. Probably before, too. I know we're going super early on this. But, Scotty, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Happy Bruno Mars Day.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrew didn't realize that, he hasn't released an album since 2016,
Well,
and
I
I've
know.
been waiting for this day for, a couple of months now.
I hadn't. I thought his last big hit was. I thought it was sooner than that.
It's
I don't know why.
his last solo album. He's done 2 collab albums.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, his solo albums. I didn't realize it's been since 2016. It feels like those songs were still more recent. But
That is very true.
you are keeping up obviously with this trend. I like Bruno Mars. I guess I'm not like that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, folks.
Behind.
Yeah, well,
You're too busy worried about some monkey with a stuffed animal.
it's a cool story.
No,
what do you want from me?
It's not a cool story, Andrew.
It's a cool story. It's a
sad
cute
story,
thing.
but again,
we need more
monkey.
happiness in this world, Scotty.
Yes, but can we worry about people more than a monkey?
First off, it's an ape.
No, it's a monkey.
It's an ape. Why this is the argument, I don't know. Let's get into this, Scotty, shall we?
Because we have to talk about the heroes of the week right here.
Yes.
The heroes.
Well, heroes in relative terms to what we're talking about. Yes. For those who don't know, obviously, if you've been living under a rock, U.S. men's and women's hockey team both took home the gold. Congratulations to them both. Obviously, a monumental win for both of them. Congratulations to them both. Obviously, it means a lot more when you can beat your northern rivals as well. We understand that. This was a huge moment, obviously, for the men's team. It's been over 50 years since they've won gold for the U.S. hockey team. So this is a big deal. I mean, because they've been kind of behind the ball just a touch almost every single time the Winter Olympics has come around. So this is a great moment for them, and congratulations to them for this. But obviously, with that came the conversation that so many had back in the 80s as well when this first happened. And it really came from our boy Bradley, who is one of our OGs. And Bradley, we appreciate you, man. Been watching since the very beginning when we started the show. He is a true blue to his heart hockey fan. Has been very much vocal about how we don't talk much hockey on this show. And
I try to, man. I try to.
You try, and I made a promise to you, Bradley. We are going to try, because of the dead period we're in now, we're going to try to talk more hockey. Believe me. I don't try to neglect all the sports. I do want to, it's just, when headlines hit, and obviously I know we got to understand how the algorithm works. Some sports, unfortunately, it's just that way. I hate to pull back the curtain for everybody, but that's just how it goes. I think you guys know. But he basically asked, he's like, I know we've had this discussion multiple times before, but he asked, do we think this is going to be the big moment where U.S. hockey, from the Pop Warner, Pee Wee level, whatever you want to call it, all the way to the NHL, possibly sees a growth in the people that want to be a part of it and the people that want to view it? And he got very testy with me the first time we had this conversation about why hockey isn't bigger in the United States. He got a little testy at me, but he's a true blue fan and of ours and of hockey, and we had great conversations about this in the past. And he also said, by the way, I should note, he said, I know you may use the same parts of your argument you've had in the past. I'm not going to be mad at you about it this time. The first time he got pretty heated at me about it. Not in any kind of serious way. It was just kind of like, how dare you disrespect hockey? Like, I get it, man. I get it. You love the sport. Tom, my co-host at the time, loved the sport, but I'm glad you understand that there's a reasonable aspect to what we talk about here. So, that being said, I hate to break your heart, Bradley. I don't think this is going to be the moment. As much as I would like to, and listen, I say that knowing that we need to leave some room for a potential, like, it could happen, right? Because everything that was there for them in 1980 when that became the moment is somewhat here in 2026, apart from a few things, right? What made 1980 so significant was the planets really aligned perfectly for hockey to make an explosion, okay? First off, it's an underdog story, right? Primarily when the U.S. plays Russia. There is the Cold War background that is there, the threat of potential war. The country's in a disarray, right? There's so much going on at that point during that time. People need a win. The country needed a win. It also, too, was around a time where the other three major sports were kind of in this weird period. NFL was seeing their ratings drop off. The NBA had Magic and Bird, but they didn't really know what they had just yet. It was just the beginning for those two, their rookie seasons. And MLB had plateaued, I would say, in their ratings. They were still doing fine, but they were starting to see the drop little by little, because we know by the 90s, baseball was really taking the hit. The strike happens in 94, and obviously then in 98, you got the home run derby that kind of saves baseball, right? We know that one already. But everything aligned perfectly for people to say, like, God, I don't really want to watch the other three sports. What else is there out there? Oh, there's hockey. Right? I mean, even college football and college basketball at that point were not major storylines. Those sports had not really kind of taken – I mean, college football had its fans, but they were still very rudimentary based where your location was, right? It wasn't a nationwide thing just yet. But unfortunately, the climate of what today is in comparison to 1980, NFL, NBA, MLB are just too big. And they eclipse the NHL, unfortunately. And there's a litany of things that I've mentioned in the past. Number one, by the way, too, is this is an adopted sport, right? Comes from Canada. It's invented there. Americans take it over here.
Yeah, take it over.
Chill, Scotty, chill. All right? Scotty has a disdain, apparently, for Canada for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it's there, as we've previously established. But it's an adopted sport, and take this for what you will, but I guess you could say, especially in today's day and age, U.S. Americans certainly seem to love those things that are American-made. Take that how you will, but football, basketball, baseball, which, note this, they all carry some semblance from other sports that come from the UK or another part of the world, right? Like, let's not get it twisted. There are elements that had to be put together to make these sports. But yes, they were invented in America, so claim football and baseball and basketball. And hockey, it's like, yeah, it's over there with soccer. Like every time the Winter Olympics come around, pride for the hockey team. And every time FIFA comes around, USA, men's team and a women's team, all right. After that, we don't really hear much about it. Like, how many people do you hear talking about the MLS? Right? I mean, Scotty, how much do you actually talk about the MLS? When you were doing your soccer show, how much did you talk about the MLS?
I actually made it a point to talk about the MLS every week.
Good.
So
I'm glad to hear that. And I go to Scotty because Scotty is obviously a soccer fan as well as a hockey fan. So I want to make that preference known that, like, this is kind of, and I'm not trying to insult or anything. It's just, it's very niche. And if you have to be, I think, a true fan of these sports, like Bradley or like Scotty or our guy Brandon Januska or our guy Tom McKinney, to actually want to talk about them.
So I don't think so, because I think this could be the situation where it is the boom of it.
Okay.
Because I want to bring this up. Last year, the NBA Finals went to a stunning Game 7.
Sure.
It averaged 16.4 million viewers and peaked at 19.3 around the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That U.S. game on Sunday was the most watched game before 9 Eastern.
Yeah.
In American sports history, it averaged 20, so over what entirety watched the Game 7, and it capped at 26 for overtime.
Okay.
If that game was at a normal hour, I think that game could have broken 50. That game could have broken 50 million.
Okay.
And I think, you know, Mike Tirico said it best that the 80s team, it started a generation. It jump-started a generation and created more hockey fans. I think this does the exact same thing, because not only was the on-ice product good, I think that was a given. Best on best at the Olympics is always the best hockey.
Yeah. Because
no matter what country you're from, the name on the front's more important than the name on the back. So they all play for their country. I mean, you have guys like Dylan Larkin, who's a captain on Detroit and a star player for them. He's got to play third-line minutes and just accept it. Brock Nelson's a first-line center for the Oilers or for the Islanders, and then he just has to sit on the fourth line and just become a penalty killer.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you gotta eat crow. Kyle Connor's one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. He didn't even play the gold medal game.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you got a lot of guys just eating crow just to be on this team. And then you add in the fact that this team had the story behind it with everyone. I mean, Brock Nelson, third-generation player on the U.S., and wins gold. The Kachucks winning it for their dad, who lost out the last time he went to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then the big one, you have the Johnny Gaudreau situation, which just captivated everyone.
Done. Absolutely. And because we all know Johnny Hockey would have been a part of this team.
Johnny Hockey would have been on the first line.
Yeah, absolutely.
He probably would have been on pace to be one of the greatest American players ever.
By far. And I understand. And well, I'm sorry. You got more?
I mean, I could go on how this is.
No,
I think this is going to completely change the game, because you've seen recently that the NBA has just fallen off in product.
Sure.
And you have and the big thing about it is it just doesn't get the media coverage. I mean, you said it. I understand your point of it is very niche. I think anything that is niche just needs the right media presence to be able to put into that spotlight.
Yeah.
The NBA was niche for a while.
Very true.
And then it started getting the publicity, and then look where it's at now, where even in the off season, they only talk about the NBA on talk shows.
Right. Well, and listen, every professional sport started from the ground at some point with its media coverage, right? And they had the big breakthrough. So it's fair. It's just, I look at, unfortunately, when you're and I don't disagree to say, again, I'm not saying this has completely shut the door on hockey growing, right? I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that I think when we look at it comparative to the other sports, as much as the NBA gets bad ratings, unfortunately, people are still going to watch them come playoff time. They hit new records for the All-Star this year. So people are still going to watch them regardless. MLB, they have a chance here to maybe beat MLB because if this lockout goes down into place, which seems almost inevitable now, this is your opportunity to maybe see if you can fight for those viewers, right, that are going, no baseball's on TV. What do we do? Oh, here's hockey, right? Because you're going to have to compete some with the NBA and college basketball, who people are going to flock to, I think, at the same time. And the idea that it can grow, it's fine. It's still a solid thing. It's just I don't think you're going to see this national splurge and this huge jump in kids signing up for hockey. Because, again, in the practical manner of how I kind of look at things, hockey is one of, if not the most expensive sports when it comes to youth and kids. Like, you average somewhere between $3,000 to $10,000 a year, depending on what level you're at and how much you actually want your kid to kind of be on that range, right? Because you think of the expenses of all the equipment, the ice time, the skating, all of that stuff. Sharpening of the blades is so expensive. I played 1 year of hockey, and my parents said, I hope you enjoyed this because you're done after it. I had to rent goalie equipment because I was a goaltender because my parents couldn't buy it because it's too much. I mean, and we're talking about back in the 90s where things were far less expensive than they are now. Like, I can't even imagine how much a hockey stick costs or ice skates cost now. I'm sure they're pretty pricey for what they are.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
look,
when I was a goalie, all I had that was my own was a stick.
Exactly.
Everything else I had to get from the shared shed.
Yeah, like I'm not saying these are all deterrents away from saying that the game can't grow from this moment.
Because you can't also say the same for other sports as well.
No,
I mean, the amount my
not.
cousins spend on travel baseball is insane.
Oh, of course.
The amount my cousins spend on football is crazy. So,
right.
You can make the case for other sports too.
Of course, but the thing is that where I kind of where it's get lost for hockey for me, and again, I'm not trying to deter anything on the sport. It's just ice rinks are so expensive, and it's so hard to find places to build them, right? It's not it's not as easy as a baseball field or a football field or a soccer field or a basketball court, right? Those are very simple to be able to build. You can find an area where you can be able to build that. An ice rink needs to be to a certain. You need to have a certain amount of space for the ice, for the rink, for the stadium, for the fans, concessions. You have to build basically this whole like center for this ice rink to be able to be used, and it's got to be used pretty relatively regular in order to make sure that it's actually fundamentally able to keep, because a lot of them are getting shut down now. Especially during COVID, a lot of them were getting shut down.
Yeah, that's different. I don't think that's really a point to harp on, though, because if the demand is if the demand is there, then they're gonna build it. I don't think that's really a point that you can really harp on.
No, and I'm not
because that goes for anything. If there's a demand for anything, they're gonna find a way to put it there and make sure that it's available.
But I just don't know if the demand's going to be there after this.
I think it could.
It could, but I still think there's going to be a bunch of kids that still go, I'd rather play football, or I'd rather play baseball, or I'd rather, they may play hockey for a little while, but will that be their sport of certainty? It depends, I guess, it all depends on the kid, and it depends on how they develop and all that stuff. So and that's the thing, there's 1,000 factors that fall into, can this be the moment? I unfortunately look at this as practically as I can. I'd love to be able to sit here and say without a doubt, like, yes, this can be like 1980. But unfortunately, with the media landscape the way it is, with the way that I see that kids think now, with the way that I feel like, it would translate. I don't think hockey's going to be something. A little bit of growth, sure. There might be some extra kids that join their peewee hockey leagues or junior hockey leagues or something like that. But I don't know if you're going to get this influx of thousands to hundreds of thousands of kids that are going to start lacing up their skates and grabbing sticks and saying they want to be the next, Connor McDavid. I mean, I asked this question as I did before. If you were to take any of these hockey players, put them in the middle of nowhere, middle America, Kansas, and say, walk down the street, how many people would recognize them?
Honestly, you could do the same probably for football too, because they wear helmets,
could.
though.
You very much could, and I think if you were to take a lot of those guys, there would probably be a lot of people that go, I don't know, I didn't know he played in the NFL. But if you then say
Saquon Barkley walks in Idaho, I don't think they know who he is, to be honest.
I would disagree with that. I think if you take the stars of the game and you stuck them in middle America, like a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning or a Saquon Barkley or any of the top guys out there in the NFL, NBA, MLB, you might get a lot of people that recognize him. I don't know if you're going to get that with hockey.
Joe Burrow in Montana. They think he's just from the town.
They might, but I think they know who Joe Burrow is, and they might recognize him because he's a very recognizable character. How many times have you seen him on a commercial? How many times have you seen him on TV? You don't see that much for Connor McDavid.
You put Micah Parsons in New Mexico. They think he's just chilling.
But they know who Micah Parsons is.
No, I don't think so.
I think they do.
So. All right.
I don't think they're going to know who even Sidney Crosby is, because Sidney Crosby's the only guy I remember doing a real national commercial for the NHL, and that was when they had the sweat coming with the Gatorade color, and that was back in like his 2008-9 years, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, otherwise, what national commercial have they done for Connor McDavid? And this is where the NHL is a part of the problem. Because I don't think they've done a good
really
job.
Want to go against that, because I think the NHL almost perfectly does the advertisement and puts their sport first more than any other sport out there. Look at the NBA. You have tanking problems, money problems, personality problems. They can't keep the players on the court. Baseball, they're about to have a lockout, and football players just make way too much money, while the NHL is sitting there. Hey, they don't have a tanking problem. They have a problem with long-term injuries. They fixed it in a year. Every problem the NHL comes with, they end up fixing it within the year. They can't figure out how to stop teams from wanting to lose in the NBA. They can't stop owners from not spending money in baseball.
Okay, I
would say hockey's different. Then the other thing is the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, they try to focus on single-player ambition. Push Shohei Ohtani, push LeBron, or push Giannis, push Wemby, certain players.
Right.
The NHL comes out with the commercial, no, it's the new generation of hockey, adding in McDavid, Bedard, Macklin, Schaefer, all in one commercial, and have the whole league go out there.
Where was
and
that
not
commercial,
just one
though?
certain players when they dropped on ESPN last year.
Okay.
When they first started their ESPN deal.
But
that was their big commercial. It was the new generation and pushing everyone up there. It was all of the good young players at that time.
Okay.
And then this year they added more with Macklin, Schaefer, and all these other guys that keep coming up. I think Frankie Nazar was on there. So I think they're starting to push their sport in the right way compared to all the other ones, which honestly, the bad stuff of all the other sports gets more popular than the good stuff of hockey.
That kind of answers it, though, right there. Like, even if they're doing bad, people still want to pay attention to what's happening in those sports. Like, look, I don't disagree with you. It's just I don't feel like you have, unfortunately for hockey, because there is that steadfast of the gentlemanly way of how to play the game. It doesn't allow for a lot of room for personalities, which I think is odd because there's a lot of personalities I do believe in the NHL. But I think
like they are changing from that, though. I will say that they are changing from that. It is more about the personalities, as like over the last 3 years.
Yes,
the personalities of hockey players have come out,
and I think that can help the game a lot more because it's the personalities of the NBA and the NFL and the MLB, I think, that have drove those sports to be who they are, right? You get the central characters, like you said, a Shohei Ohtani, a Michael Jordan, any of these guys, Tom Brady, and all of a sudden you get to know who these guys are. Not enough people really know who the NHL players are, unfortunately. Again, I'm not trying to say that this is like the death of hockey. Hockey's going to stick around. It's just very tough for me to believe that from this moment we are going to see a wave of young talent flood the hockey rinks and then help the NHL propel to the next level, and people are going to start watching the NHL more. I don't think that's going to translate the way that people are trying to argue for it. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Scotty.
No,
I'm not saying I'm right. It's a
saying.
discussion that I think should be had because I want to see the NHL do better because I think they're getting to that point where you can start making an argument that the athletes are far better than they have been in the past. But and this is where I don't know how you feel about this. I'm just going to say this now. Getting that 1980 gold medal and then combining that with, because what comes in the 80s later on, a central star that the NHL can build their entire marketing around in Wayne Gretzky. And I think the NHL has that in Connor McDavid. As you said, there's a bunch of guys.
I think the NHL should take the approach of, no, it's the entire generation that's coming because you look at – because
you do that in baseball, and baseball it works.
Because I could really complain about this. I mean, you have Connor McDavid to push. You have Bedard to push.
Correct.
You have, I mean, you could
got
even
Celebrini. You've got a bunch of guys.
You have Schaefer, who has come in and through 60 games, put up 40 points as a defenseman, and he's just absolutely taken over the Islanders. But you also have the old guard that's still top tier. I mean, Ovi's probably still got another 2 years in him because he could just sit at the red dot and snipe goals on the power play.
Yeah, he does one thing, but that's the sad thing.
And then
too.
you got Gavin McKenna, which I don't know. This Penn State Gavin McKenna story is fantastic.
Why?
I'll bring that up later.
Dude, don't talk smack to the kid. Like, what do you? Also,
don't talk about his mom, dude.
Also, you're 22 and you got decked by an 18-year-old. How do you better feel sorry for yourself.
And then he hits the McGregor struck after
he had every right to do so. Come on, man. That kid's gonna be a star in the NHL.
All right, can I talk about the game now?
Yes, you can.
Yo, Canada. Yo.
If that's what this is about, we're going to shut this down now.
Listen, I complained when Billy Guerin was announced the GM of the U.S. team because I knew he was just going to pick his Minnesota boys.
Yeah.
And he did, but they won the gold. Yo, Canada, why is Schaefer not on the team? Why is Bedard not on the team? You need someone to score in overtime? Sorry, Connor Bedard's like perfect at that. Sorry.
That's pretty true.
You can't figure out how to let Macklin – you can't put Macklin, McDavid, and – McKinnon on the same line and not have them score a goal. That's just insane.
That's the
thing.
Those
are the three greatest talents, like three great talents in the NHL. Two top three players in the NHL right now, and you can't get a goal out of them. I mean, that Canada team might be the greatest team ever put on hockey skates.
Possibly.
And they couldn't win.
Yeah. Listen, they had their chances. But
and don't complain about some 3v3 overtime. That's not hockey. You have the three greatest players in the NHL on the ice at one time, and you couldn't score. That's your fault.
This should have been a blowout. No, I'm not to insult USA. This should have been like a 4-1 game or like a 5-2 game. I'm just being honest. Like, they were too good for Team Canada to not win that one. I'm sorry. It's very true. But yes, Bedard not being on the team, obviously, for all of us was a little bit odd. He certainly, I think, would have been at least, if anything, somewhat of a factor to that
Bedard would have
game.
been better on like the bottom six than like half the guys on that bottom six for Canada.
But this is again the whole this whole thing though is that to kind of mount it all together, like for what the game was, it's wonderful. For Team USA, it's awesome. For the women's side too, it's awesome. And no, I don't care that they didn't want to go to the White House and they wanted to go hang out with Flavor.
No, here's the thing. They couldn't.
Oh, they couldn't? Oh, okay.
Because
I thought they didn't want to.
That's what they tried. That's what a lot of people were saying.
Okay.
But they have already been back for a week.
Okay.
And a lot of the girls that are on that team are actually still playing for their college team. So they had to get all that time off from college to go play in the Olympics. So when they got to come back at some point.
They got to go back to school.
So by the time that they've been back since, I think their gold medal game was on Thursday.
Yeah.
So gold medal on Thursday, you want them on Tuesday when they were back already for half a week. You want them to just give up going to school or whatever they got to do to go to the State of the Union, go to the White House, whatever the U.S. team, the men's U.S. team got to do. It's hard for them to do that. They've just got 2 weeks off.
Yeah. That's fair.
And they already said that they're going to go out in the summer, or whenever they can.
I don't understand the appeal of going to the White House.
Nah, it's just the honor thing.
I know, it's a photo op. It's an honor thing. Like,
that's all it is.
Like, I went there once just real quick, I went there once for a band trip, and I had a teacher who came up to me because I'm just kind of like, I don't understand why we're standing in front of this. I'm 17 years old.
Nah, that's
and she
crazy,
tried to give me
man.
this whole, like, the history of the White House, and I said, ma'am, no disrespect, but this is like looking at a house that I'm never going to be able to afford in a rich neighborhood.
Nah, that's crazy, man. 'Cause
Like,
I tried to plan a trip to go to D.C. this year. but-
DC is okay. I like the Smithsonian, and the whole part of that trip was I got to make out with a girl that I really liked there. Like, that was the whole
Okay, wow.
fun. Like, not to brag, but it just I don't. Who cares about the White House and all that? We didn't even meet the president. We were there for a band trip, and like
I will also say this. While I did say the NHL does a great way at promoting their game, you want to know who doesn't? The PWHL. Because
Yeah,
the
they-
PWHL
yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love watching the PWHL.
they do.
But
It's
let me
just-
tell you something. in the pregame of the gold medal game for the men's, you talk about, the NHL talent here. The
Yeah.
PWHL was mentioned twice on their gold medal game. I mean, talk about, like, dude, just try to push it a little bit.
You're bearing an opportunity to get a league maybe a little bit more of a push, but I listen. Commentators are going to say what they want to say, right? End of the day, but it's great for both of them. Congratulations to them both. It's a great opportunity. We'll see what it does for the sport of hockey. If anything, it's a monumental moment for the United States and for their Olympic hockey team. So good on them. Congratulations.
Very sad that they had to be back in the NHL on Wednesday because those boys could have went on a month bender after that one.
Probably best not to, because I've seen hockey players party.
Oh, they were having some fun.
Yeah, you don't got to tell me. I've been at one of those.
Hockey players making
You wanna talk about
strippers stand at attention for the national anthem in a Miami strip club. That's dope.
It's debauchery at its finest, honestly. Absolute mayhem. All right, let's move on to the next one and rip through these. So this next one, I got a litany of these questions, of course, just because obviously we're in the swing of college basketball. College basketball is about to come to its end, where we're going to get conference tournaments and then eventually the NCAA tournament, because March is right around the corner. But a lot of you guys were asking about the Darryn Peterson situation and what exactly to take away from that, how to interpret that, what's my take on it, is essentially what everyone was wondering. So to let those who don't know understand the whole concept that's going on here, Darryn Peterson is one of the top recruits in the country. He commits to the University of Kansas to play for Bill Self. He is projected already out of high school to be a potential top 5, top 10 pick, okay? That is kind of the echelon of who this young man is. He is being compared to some of the greatest players to ever play this game by his own ability to play. He is a fantastic player through and through. Unfortunately, though, there are some that do not like the way that he has gone about managing his career in college, I guess you could say, where he has only played in 17 games, and in some of those games he has only played in the first half and then taken himself out, unfortunately, in the second half, or been taken out, depending on how you want to interpret it. It's a strange one, no doubt. It's a strange one, no doubt. And obviously has led to a conversation across the country that has been, this guy was the clear-cut number 1 overall pick when the season started, and then you wondered, does he have injury issues? These are soft tissue injuries. But it seems like he gets taken out of the game and he can still play potentially. Like, he's still walking around. He doesn't seem to be truly hurt. Like, there's just a lot of conversation about how much of this is real, how much of this is being faked. There's a lot there that certainly that needs to be discussed, no doubt, when it comes to Darryn Peterson. But the question of, how much of this is actually like a problem, how much of this is an issue for, I guess, me personally, or potentially for what his career could be. Truthfully, from my standpoint, just right off the bat, I don't think it really means that much. I really don't.
Can I be honest, Andrew?
Yeah.
Remember when Kyrie Irving did this?
Yes.
And nobody cared?
Which I think that was...
Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Everyone applauded Kyrie Irving for doing this in his 1 year at Duke.
He played 11 games. He had, by the way, a very serious injury that did occur. Or rather, not serious, but it was pretty harsh. And sat out majority of the season to the very end. And then tried to play, but just really couldn't, I don't think. and still ended up being the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, but no one. I mean, you had Stephen A. back in what was that? 2014. What was that? 2012.
2012. Yeah, that would be 2012.
I mean, you had him on TV going, "No, he's okay because he'll be the number 1 pick. That's fine."
Yeah.
So why do we care about it now? Why is it different now?
Which is that's the thing is like you got Stephen A. Smith and Bill Simmons and these guys who are the talking heads out there going, oh well, this is I don't know, I couldn't take him number 1 overall. This is ridiculous. Like,
dude, the new AI Colin Cowherd on the Fox app would probably tell you that. So, I mean,
funny.
Look, honestly, maybe the problem isn't the player doing it; it's the system. The one and done system is stupid.
Honestly,
maybe it's that.
Honestly, it's not.
Either go to high school or make them play 2-3 years.
Yeah, and I think this could be the conversation that happens where you go, I mean, do they really need to go play 1 year of college basketball? Because, look, to say this kid comparatively is Kobe Bryant sounds insane because Kobe was the complete opposite. He played every game. He played even when he was hurt sometimes. He was an ultimate warrior. To say this guy is Kobe Bryant seems outlandish. But when you watch him play, you watch his game, I think the shot's there, the ball handling's there, the court vision is there, and there is that Mamba mentality of I need to attack, I need to score. Now, yes, sits out games. How can you make that comparison? That's disrespectful to Kobe Bryant, as some people have said about that whole thing. I don't think so, because Kobe Bryant went right out of high school. So who's to say that this kid wouldn't have maybe gone top 5 right out of high school? Who's to say Cooper Flagg wouldn't have probably been a top number 1 pick out of high school? There's a lot of guys in this draft class that's coming up that I think can be the generation that can help redefine a new era for the NBA and bring eyes back to the sport.
And to be honest, I mean, you look at guys like Luka and Wemby who were 18 when they started in the NBA, but they played pro ball, so that was different. But I mean, you can make the case for them. They started right at 18.
Yeah, absolutely. As you would definitely say, like, yes, 100%. I don't see a problem with that, because if you can play, and who wouldn't look at those guys and say, oh yeah, they're going to be stars. Luka's been doing it since he was 14. Wemby's been doing it since he was like 12. These guys have been playing pro, yeah. But then there's the American kids who they've been playing their entire lives, and now they got to spend the 1 year at a college that doesn't mean anything to them when they could just go pro right out of high school, like we've seen many guys do. And yes, there are those that have certainly been the horror stories, like Kwame Brown, where it has been a disaster as a number 1 overall pick, but he still makes a career out of being a basketball player, does he not? It's not the greatest ever, but he does make a success story for himself in some capacity.
That's more on the scouting. You should have done better scouting on the guy.
And then there's Dwight Howard, who everyone was kind of like, do you want to make him the number 1 pick? He's super skinny. It's like, who wouldn't want a Dwight Howard on their team? Man single-handedly took the Orlando Magic to the finals. Like, what are we talking about? All of these dudes right out of high school. Boozer, Bansta, Peterson, Wilson, Flemings, a Cuff Jr. There's a ton of guys right now as freshmen. Had they been allowed to go into the draft, they would have. And you know what? They probably would have been picked over some of these college kids. Probably in the lottery. Hell, the Bulls might have actually had a good shot at maybe getting one of these guys if they had an opportunity.
Nah, they just like mid.
Yeah, I know. Which, look, if everything, the Bulls may not win more than 5 games this year, so they may get a shot.
They're like me at a bar, 0 for 11 in February.
Well said.
You want to know something, though, Andrew? Moving on. Are you ready for the remember in 2016 in the NBA when they just started handing out $40 million contracts to guys like Timothy Mozgov and Solomon Hill? Came out official. The NFL salary cap is going up $22 million for this new season. So you ready for Malik Willis to be a $30 million quarterback?
Oh, God, please. Yeah, this question came in This question came in from one of our dudes, Curtis, who a couple days ago hit me up with this, and he goes, I looked at the potential free agents, and I almost cried. Could this possibly be the worst free agent class in NFL history? That's a bit of a stretch, but I'm looking at it too, and I'm not very impressed right now with the names that are on it. I think there's going to be others that get added to it, but the expected free agents to fall right now, whoa, man, you're really grasping at straws for this one if you're looking for a stud. If you're looking for a star, there's I mean, what the top guy is supposed to be Malik Willis, probably should be
The top guy's probably K9.
Yeah,
but you don't pay running backs, so
right.
That's not a good start.
Or it's Trey Hendrickson, but he hasn't played.
Tremaine Edmonds, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
there's no top corners in this class.
No, Sports Track.
Brisker's gonna hit free agency, and he's gonna get a massive contract. But
somebody's gonna give him a shot. I mean, right now,
he's probably gonna be the best guy on the market, to be honest. And that's across every position. He's probably gonna end up being the best guy. And Brisker has questions as well, and I love him. He's a great guy. He's a great player, but I mean, he's got questions himself. And you want to tell me he's probably going to be the best free agent on the market?
No,
that's tough.
I mean, right now, Daniel Jones is the highest market value of players, I should say, according to SportsTrack.com. He's supposed to make somewhere in the range of $43.5 million.
Why?
Well, I mean, he had a good year with the Colts.
Yeah, he also blew out his knee. So
well, there's that too. I mean, but that's it. Like after that, it's Trey Hendrickson. Then you've got Juwan Jennings, who's projected at $22 million.
Yo, you want to play a game real quick? So give me like what player's gonna get like the Solomon Hill contract? Remember, we can make who's the Matthew Dellavedova of this class?
Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah, remember Deli got like a $14 million a year contract.
I hear what you're
saying.
From the Bucks. I do.
This could be a fun game. Like, who is like the Deli of this class?
I mean, I'm looking at it right now.
Yo, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm looking at a lot of these names, and I'm just there. Some of these, like Wandale Robinson, is that a number one wide receiver? Is that a
that's
number two?
That's solid.
Like, I mean,
that's a solid one.
Alec Pierce, I think, is a much better receiver option than Juwan Jennings. Like,
true.
To be quite honest, I know he's coming off a high. He could just go back to being kind of an average dude, but I don't know. I see a body of work there that actually could lead to being like a solid number 2 wideout.
I just think unlike every of the past couple years, there's not a lot of team-changing players out on the market that like instantly make them a contender again.
Right.
Like when the Eagles were already a contender, but it was kind of a given when they got Saquon Barkley. They're like, yeah, they're probably the best team now. I don't think that there's a player on the market now this year that could make a team like, let's say, I mean, just shooting them out there, Green Bay, Chicago, that just instantly turns them into one of the favorites. I don't think there's a single player on the market this year that's like that.
I mean, maybe Mike Evans if he's not going to stick around in Tampa. Maybe.
That's not game-changing, to be honest. He's, 34 now?
He's 32, going to be 33 here soon.
Yeah. I mean, that's not Saquon Barkley level of change free agency.
Well, no, and even that obviously has
Drew
maybe
Brees,
more
who
time.
is slowly going down as one of the greatest free agent signings in all sports.
Yes, he is. I don't contend with
there's
that.
no real star like that this year.
No, I mean, honestly, it's that Evans might be the only one, and his star is very much starting to fade. I mean, I look at I can't believe we are looking at the names of guys like Tyreek Hill and Deebo Samuel, who we thought one time would be top 10 for years and years to come as wide receivers and maybe just all-around football players. And
the baggage just ain't.
It's too much. Deebo Samuel with the injuries and the inconsistency, and Tyreek Hill's got way too many baby mamas and kids going on right now. Like, dude, get a deal with Trojan or something, my guy. Like, figure it out. Like, oh my God. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at this group right now. Kelsey's way too old. There's not much there. Calais Campbell, I can't believe, is almost 40 years old and still trying to do it. Aaron Rodgers, we know what he is. Malik Willis is just one of those dudes I feel like that's going to be the new, like, what's a good comp for him?
Matt Flynn.
That's perfect, actually. You played a handful of games, kind of good, and then you're going to get a giant contract, like you said. He's valued right now at $10.5 million a year, which would put him probably online with what we saw from a guy like Justin Fields. And you're going to give that guy $30 million a year. And I don't even think you can guarantee him a starting spot, honestly. If you want to try to bring him in and say, all right, we're going to have you compete, you're not giving him $30 million. You give $30 million to the guy that goes, you're our quarterback. I mean, I was against giving $20 million apiece to Justin when the Jets gave him that money. Yeah, they were like, yeah, he's going to be our quarterback. Are you sure about that? Because there's other options that could be way better than this dude. This could be the worst free agency because Rashid Shaheed, is he going to get a job? Joey Bosa might be done. Kobe Bryant, is he going to get a chance? Actually, you know what? Here, Tyler Linderbaum, a center from the Ravens, could be the one guy that could make an impact if you need that dude in the middle.
I think they're already said that they're trying to bring him back.
I'm sure, but he could be that one guy. And if you need an edge rusher, like, here's a thought. If you're Buffalo and the Joey Bosa thing obviously didn't work, how about give Khalil Mack maybe a call and see if he maybe wants to give it a 1 year go with the Bills?
He did go to Buffalo.
He did go to Buffalo. I mean, he still can get double-digit sacks. What's the harm in that? Otherwise, yeah, this is a whole lot of Devin Lloyd maybe as a linebacker. He's been pretty impactful. Rasheed Walker.
Went on the field.
He's been solid. There's just a lot of above average to good, I guess you could say.
I would just say leave it at above average.
Yeah.
There's no good is like you're getting close to being a game changer, and there's not really just that many on this class.
No. I'll say this. I hope.
Yo, I can't wait for the Luol Deng Lakers contract of this class. It's gonna be great.
Nashawn Wright's gonna get paid, and I hope he gets what he wants.
Yo, I think that might be like the Timothy Mozgov. Like he just puts up, he gets like 10 rebounds a game. So you think you should give him like a $50 million contract, and Nashawn Wright, it's up there in interceptions, and so you're like, let's pay him to be a top corner, and then he's burnt toast against like a 5th round receiver from the middle of Idaho.
I'll say this: your NBA to NFL free agency is pretty on point. I gotta say, Timothy Mozgov is a pull. I gotta give you that. I was not thinking that at all, but that translates. I think that translates pretty well, actually.
Looking up like the free agents of 2016 and just trying to remember some of these
just trying to see what happened.
Yeah,
10 years ago.
this could be really fun. Like just going through.
Listen, we got time. We still got some time, so go for it if you want to pull
Harrison Barnes. Nick Batum. Remember Kent Bazemore?
Yeah, he was a thing.
He
was a thing for a minute.
That's crazy. Devin Lloyd is Bismack Biyombo. That's crazy.
Jesus. He's got a little bit more spice to himself than that.
This was fun. This is fun, yeah. I mean, there was some bangers. Like, you got DeMar DeRozan, Andre Drummond. KD was that year. But then you got, like, Raymond Felton and Langston Galloway.
Yeah, that was a year where now now that you say those names, very top-heavy, of course, and then it very much, like a funnel, it very much got smaller.
I know I'm missing. That's the name I was thinking of. Chandler Parsons.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The everyman.
That's Mac Jones, Chandler Parsons.
Hey, put some respect on that man's name. He kept the 49ers in it. He goes to the right team. I think he can do some really great stuff, honestly.
That's what they said about Chandler Parsons.
Well, he looked okay for a while. All right, thank you so much for the question, man. We appreciate it. And as always, we appreciate these questions. Finally, let's talk about this really quick. We'll just talk about it really quick. So, obviously, if you guys don't know, obviously, when it comes to NFL players and mental health and all that stuff, we've talked about that numerous times on this show. And with the new, obviously, situation with Rondale Moore, it has now sparked up the conversation yet again of mental health awareness in the NFL. And hearing this story, it's not like I knew Rondale Moore personally, but you hear a guy who's, what was he, 25, 26, and he takes his life like this, like it leaves a bit of an impact on me specifically, because I've dealt with this kind of stuff before with other people in my life myself, and some of them being guys who I played football with in the past. And it is it's one of those things that I think we do not discuss enough when it comes to sports, especially is the mental health aspect. And I think it has been far more discussed, especially in today's day and age. But it is, I think, a tragedy that when tragedy does occur in these sports is when it seems to become a topic of conversation, and does not become a topic of conversation before the tragedy happens. And you can go any which way on this, obviously, about what happened and what occurred here and all that stuff, but I think it is crucial to bring up this kind of moment because, you know, just in the case of mental health in general, we don't know what everybody is going through, and it is important, I think, for all of us to do our part to check in on our friends, our family members, our loved ones, our partners, whatever it may be, to make sure that everything is okay. If you see something is kind of shifted in them, you know, make the effort, I think, to try and reach out to them, because everybody always has that same conversation, right? It's always oh, they seemed so fine, and then something happens, right? I mean, for me, with the NFL, I will never forget the story of Javon Belcher. I don't know how many people know that story. A young, promising linebacker who played for the Chiefs, who everybody said he was happy-go-lucky. He seemed to be fine. He seemed to be playing well. Everybody thought he was going to be another star for the Chiefs in their growing period, by the way, when they were looking like they were about to start rising to success. And he ends up going to the facility with a weapon in his hand and in front of I believe it might have been the owner himself or the GM. It was somebody high up in the front office like that, and took his life in front of him. And, you know, I that left a mark in my mind forever, because you don't know what somebody's going through, because they can hide it behind the teeth very well, or they can hide it behind their eyes or something like that. And I think I just want to use this as a moment to help try and put that word out there, which is why on the bottom I've put the information, if you will, for the text line and for the call line for organizations that can help you if you are struggling with that kind of stuff. Because I think it's important. You know, we are all, I think, in some kind of way impacted by depression and some sort of mental health, you know, stressors and things like that. And I think it is important for all of us to kind of do our part to try to be there for one another as best we can. It's not always easy, but if you can just be a reach out and be like, hey, is everything okay? Are you doing all right? How's things been? You know, I think that is very, very important. I get it all the time. I mean, David's not here, but he would probably be screaming at me if me talking about this, because he is oftentimes the guy that has to always double, triple, quadruple check me when he notices there's a shift in me, which, you know, I got a lot going on in the last few years, and that could also impact how much I come here on the show. Just kind of I'm not going to say what's going on, but I'm just kind of forewarning everybody that we may be missing more time depending on what happens here down the line. But that is for the future. But he is always somebody who is kind of checking into me. And I don't need everybody to do that for me, but it's nice to know that he, along with a handful of other people, will do that. And I don't take that away from anybody that I know cares about me, that doesn't do that. I know they probably would if they wanted to and if they could or anything like that. So I hope you guys know how impactful you are to my life and how much you mean to me and all that stuff. You know, especially, you know, and Scotty, you are one of those people. I hope you know that, dude, how much, you know, this is one of my sanctities, my solemnness. When things are tough, it's always good to be able to be here and do the show, be it blow the whistle, X-Bomb, even bad karma. It's just nice to be able to kind of be with my guys, my dudes, talk about sports, be it whatever it might be, and be able to kind of have that kind of escape from reality. Even though I know this conversation is kind of like pulling it back in. But I think it's important to always have these conversations for our show. We always, I wanted to always be about sports, but when these major things do happen and you guys obviously are asking questions, and sometimes it's not even sports stuff. Sometimes you have asked me about, how many times on this show have we had a discussion about like school shootings and things like that. Like, I've never tried to go political on it, but I've always said that I think those moments to have this platform are important to speak out on it when I can. And I want to continue to stress that for however long this show's going, which at this point, my goal is to keep going until the sun burns out or I dissipate or whatever it might be. I will die in this chair doing this show if it comes to that. You can quote me on that. However that comes about, I don't know. But either way, I just wanted to be able to do this. May Rondale Moore rest in peace. May to all the players who unfortunately have lost their lives rest in peace. And I hope that this can be one of the many moments where the NFL can finally start making more of a push to say, okay, we need to figure it out, because I have a very distinct feeling that this could still have a link to CTE in some degree. So we can't just back off from the conversation that this wasn't linked, because there's a great possibility that it could have been because of what the past has said to us. I know those are older players, but let's not forget about the 20-year-old college kid from Penn or the 17-year-old from high school. Let's keep those in mind. So,
I mean, there's not really much I can really add on to what you were saying. I'll just say this. I mean, Rondale Moore obviously came into the NFL with a lot of potential. Watched him a lot at Purdue. Thought he was going to be something, but, didn't turn out the way, and however that affected him shouldn't have led to this. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, again, all the love and respect to Rondale Moore for his family, his friends, and all that good stuff. But we got to get out of here because a new part of our family has just entered in. A beautiful, beautiful boy, and I want to be able to go and say hi to him here. So, and also, I haven't seen one of our amigos in so long. So I want to make sure to be able to say hi to him as well, as I'm sure Scotty does too. So
yeah, wrap it up, Andrew.
All right, I'm wrapping it up.
Shout out Bobo and Clint. That's all I gotta say.
I know, yeah, absolutely. I know. I got a lot of wind in me. But that's going to do it for our show here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. We do appreciate you guys. You guys are the best fans in the world. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. You guys know where to check us out on the show. As always, we're all over the place. We're on, X-Bomb for YouTube, X-Bomb for Twitch. You guys want to check us out anymore as well, we're on the social media stuff too. And if you guys want to see any more of our stuff with questions and comments, of course, xbsportsofficial@gmail.com is where we're at. Bad Karma didn't go, but again, check them out, guys. It's on the YouTube page for Bad Karma. Blow the whistle. We'll probably go here in a short while. Just give me a minute while I'm reconnecting with some people here and connecting with some new people here. So keep on the eye out for that. That's going to be on Sports Down Chicago's on the YouTube page, and we'll probably just go for a short hour, again, talking about probably the Combine and everything. With that, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys next Friday, and as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.